year. That's all I have. So the next item then will be matters from councilors. Councilor Jaramillo.
Thank you, Mayor. I just also wanted to wish everyone Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Had a good break, got some much needed rest, and back hitting the ground running now this week. So I also have some comments, probably pretty lengthy here. In light of the events that happened at the last meeting, I'm going to address a few of the issues on my mind. I would like to see civil discourse and the dignity and the respect of this council and our town maintained. And so that's very important to me. I'll start off by giving a really quick story about something that happened to me personally in the course of my professional career. I was with a mentor. He was actually my managing partner at the time in the CPA firm I was working in. And we were discussing, business and different things, and a staff person, maybe she was an audit senior position, came up, and we were complaining and bemoaning, just kind of making some negative comments and discussing her performance. And then suddenly he just stopped and he got quiet, and then he just looked at me and he said, "Which of us is perfect?" And I didn't even know how to react to that, but it was a very pivotal moment in my perspective on things with other people. And so I always just think of that at, certain key points in time of, I am not perfect. I'm the least thing from perfect. I make mistakes, and we all make mistakes. And we can't expect perfection from others, and we have to understand that we're all flawed, right? So just with that kind of in mind, I'd like us to work together and strive forward with the differences that do exist. As I mentioned in my comments last time, in any governing body, you're going to have differences of opinion, and it does result in a healthy, as long as it's a healthy discussion, I guess is what I should say, then it makes for good government. But Councilor Abrams, I do have comments for you. You're the most senior on this council. And I have been shocked for the third time now at your condescending tone in your attempts to control Councilor Abraham with the use of anger. So controlling with anger, yelling, shaking your finger at people, telling people to cease and desist with their rightful comments, and making threats about other action you will take are unacceptable and abusive tactics. This really does create an atmosphere where people do not feel safe, unfortunately. Your behavior was frightening. Councilor Abraham should never have been in a position that she had to leave our last meeting, and I also had several complaints from members of the public who were very frightened of your behavior. I had previously asked you in another meeting some months ago to not rudely interrupt like that and to allow Councilor Abraham and I to have a voice. And, I just kind of wonder, would you have been speaking that way to another man? And I encourage you to find healthy ways to express your views in your opposition. Councilor Abraham is a strong woman who is valuable. She is your equal. She does not deserve that treatment. And finally, Councilor Abrams, if you have been aware of all these facts on the sewer that you say Councilor Abraham should have been also, why did you not follow up when the notice of violations from NMED was not being addressed? So the administration has stated time and time again that they didn't know about these violations with the transition in administration and mayors. You're saying at the last meeting that you did know about the violations and everything related to the sewer and didn't understand why Councilor Abraham wasn't aware of these things. So I just encourage you to exercise leadership in bringing issues transparently into the open so they can be addressed. If you knew about them, they should have been addressed. Councilor Abraham, I think you're the second most senior member of this council, so I have comments for you too based on everything that happened. I want you to know that I value you. I value every member of this council and of the administration as well. People, they're people, and people have their own viewpoints and opinions that do matter. We each have feelings, and as people, we must value each other. So I want you to know that I value you and your questions as well. I value your inquiries and your research because they give way to healthy debate and facts, which makes way for better government. And I don't see those things as a threat. I can also see other perspectives of other people here. So I guess my feedback for you is, you know, for better or worse, Mayor Bassett is our mayor, and he will be making decisions that you may or may not agree with. But I always try to see the challenges of what he's working with, what exists, the history, the people, the limits of funding, the ordinances which were already passed in the past, approvals in the past, recommendations that the mayor may have received. Maybe it's information that he didn't have, etc. So again, none of us are perfect, and running the town is not easy. I do encourage you to continue to straightforwardly state your concerns as you did when you answered the mayor at the last meeting in public meetings. You know that there will be times you must defer to the actions taken by the majority of council, but that does not limit you in representing the public, no matter what anybody says. So even in the minority, it is still within your rights to speak to people, request information, have meetings as long as your role is properly disclosed, add items to the town's agenda for discussion, and to exercise your votes in meetings. And this is what our constituents expect of us, and I think you've heard some of the comments tonight applauding you for doing just that. So thank you for your questions. Mayor, I was worried at first when I saw this information in your comments in the packet, the agenda. However, in the end, I just want to say that I did think that the debate between yourself and Councilor Abraham was a positive thing because it started to get to the core of the conflict in a more open and honest way. So I think more, as I stated last time, I really do think that more discussion should be had in open meetings instead of assumptions being made on both sides, whether it's governing body members or the administration. It's better just to hash out these things, I think, in open meetings so that the facts can be known. There is something that I've learned over the years called the drama triangle. And so I'll share this with you quickly, but it's basically, we all do this with our families and our workplaces, and it's happening right here where people play victim or they, play the blame game. They have always a persecutor, a rescuer, and a victim. And it's called the drama triangle. And it's really just not healthy to camp out on that drama triangle. I mean, it's better to work toward constructive solutions. So, we're not victims, I don't think, to people asking questions and requesting information. I don't think that anyone's viewpoint here makes us 100% bad or 100% good. I think that we all just need to see each other's perspectives and maintain civil discourse and respect. Mayor, you did mention that Councilor Abraham gave an IPRA request to the AG regarding the town, I guess. I personally believe an elected official should never have to resort to IPRAs. Please work with the administration. During the budget process, I advocated for our new administrative assistant position for that very reason. And I stated right in the budget workshop that we needed someone to support management, to bring in more funding through grant writing, but to also support council with any requests so they can be answered more timely, because a lot of our requests weren't coming back timely. And so really with that new position, it should just not be a problem to get any counselor what they request. And so I asked this question: if we're dealing with truth and facts here, why does anyone care what Councilor Abraham requests? Why is it such a big deal? I don't understand the resistance. I don't understand why it's such a negative thing for her to be requesting information. And while you may think that Councilor Abraham's request creates hard effort and you are putting up with crap, quote unquote, I want to point out that you ran for mayor and that these employees wanted their jobs. And part of these roles includes serving not only the public, but serving each other as we represent the town. So, of course, the bad comes with the good and the hard with the easy, right? And we all just need to respect each other and serve each other. One of the big things as I've thought through this is an issue is communication. So, Mayor, I'm just asking that the communication be stepped up to increase executive level activities, communications with the council. I think that would help with trust. We should not be finding out about things after the fact or only after persistent inquiries. And so that's just kind of a common theme that I've noticed here since being elected. But in all, Mayor, thank you for bringing forward facts at the last meeting and kind of controlling yourself, your distress. I encourage more of these discussions, even though conflict really is uncomfortable. And then lastly, I want to read a quote from Thomas Jefferson about truth, about conflict, about argument and debate. And it just says, so Thomas Jefferson says, truth is the proper and sufficient antagonist to error and has nothing to fear from the conflict, unless, by human interposition, disarmed of her natural weapons, free argument and debate, errors ceasing to be dangerous when it is permitted freely to contradict them. And so Councilor Abraham has brought to light errors in the past, such as the unconstitutionality of the sign ordinance and unlawful discriminatory proposed zoning changes regarding mobile homes, and errors in the payments to a vendor, which was the maids. These are all things, these are just examples, but these are all things which serve the public and protect this town, even if it is difficult to hear and deal with. And even though it appears to be negative, it's actually part of the duty of governance. And so if I'm following Jefferson's logic properly, from the quote, there really is nothing to fear from this conflict. And so as counselors may disagree or may ask questions or they may request information, and yeah, maybe that shows the truth and shows some errors, there's nothing to fear from it, only the truth to be found. Argument and debate should be freely permitted. And so I think, just in closing, if we all communicate with each other better, without omissions, and just making an effort to be transparent and timely, full truths will be obvious. And when that happens, I think that the trust amongst the council will grow. Thank you.